So we are on night one. We have something very special today because this is the first time ever we're doing a table read with HorrOrigins, which is very fun in a film festival setting. So shout out to everybody who was calling in from around the world. I know a lot of people here are from different places. Before we begin, please, if you are not an actor participating in this table read, please mute yourself and please, as much as possible, stay away from the unmute button and keep your camera off. Before we get started, also, please check out bingewave.com/horrorigin, if I get the, hopefully I got the thing right. Okay, bingewave.com/f/horrorigins to check out the remainder of the festival. It's going on for the rest of the weekend, so please check out the rest of the schedule. Today we have our table read. We have, drum roll please. We are reading Bearskull. A little bit about Bearskull. During a guerrilla mission to rescue endangered bear cubs, a motley crew of animal rights activists find themselves trapped in a cabin and surrounded by an indigenous cult bent on sacrificing them to a mythical beast known as Nakani. Also, please stick around after the table read. Hop on Twitter to join us for an AMA using the hashtag BearskullAMA. Bearskull was written by screenwriter David L. Williams. It will be narrated by Georgia McKenzie. The cast include Gus, played by Maurice Whitfield, McKenner, played by Dan Shaked, Marsha, played by Jenna Kuerzi, Phoebe, played by Moshaty, Zeedot, played by Jeremiah Lewis, Dakota, played by Danny Nevins, Mataki, played by Erica McNabb, and please welcome our narrator, Georgia McKenzie.
Interior, Gus's apartment, late night. A pair of tired hazel eyes. They twitch, they dart about. They're focused on a cracked HD TV, featuring footage of a poacher pressing his big leather boot onto the face of a wild fox, keeping them pinned to the ground. The poacher unsheaths his hunting knife, and these watchful eyes belong to August Gus Dean, 26, stoic and unblinking, hardened yet gentle. A quiet anger bubbles inside him like molten rock, a volcano that needs to erupt. He wears all black, all dingy, short, shabby hair. A voice scratches in from a walkie-talkie that occupies the coffee table before him. Surrounding the radio, pills from a bottle of Zoloft, cross-populated with pills from a bottle of Valium.
Gus.
Gus doesn't reply. He watches. On TV, the fox has been skinned and is hung up by its feet. Blood drips. It twitches. Still alive.
Gus the bus. Call yourself making a muss. It's time for us to...
Where
Gus
are you?
snatches the walkie-talkie.
In the lobby. Mrs. Beck was kind enough to let me in. Bless her big fucking rack.
Gus glares at the skinless fox. His jaw clenches.
You ready, partner?
Interior apartment complex, late night. Gus hops down the crummy stairs. The walls peel in real time. He hits the lobby and finds another man in all black waiting for him. McKenner, 25. Tall and handsome with an orange beard. There's a wildly dangerous glint in his eye that brightens upon seeing Gus.
Mastermind.
Anything new?
Z hasn't seen anything come in or out. Ain't no reason to believe that it's more than we're bargaining for. Same guys on the outside. We're thinking it's going to be the same outside on the inside.
Let's roll.
Gus moves for the exit.
Hey, how you doing, first and foremost?
Gus pauses. It's unclear if an answer is circulating in his head.
All right, man. Let's roll, man. Come on.
Okay, but we'll talk about everything, right?
Yeah, we will.
Exterior, a shitty street in an unpleasant town. Late night. Gus and McKenner stroll towards a big white van at the corner. We hear a dog bark down the street. Dogs shouldn't be barking at this hour. Glass breaks somewhere.
Speaking of rolling, Marsha's packing the candy. Feel like stuffing your face beforehand?
Anyone okay to drive?
It's up to you.
I'm on prescriptions.
Oh, Sir Mix-a-Lot, you are not.
They make it to the rear of the van. McKenner smacks the cargo door. Gus fidgets, twitches. McKenner sizes him up.
You good?
Are you good?
No, not ever. I'm doing terribly.
The door opens and out spills Marsha, 22 in all black. Dainty with faded red hair. Jewelry and makeup indicate a glamour rebel with a cause.
You guys ready for essentials?
Good Gus here says he's surfing over the counter on his own quest.
Give me the keys.
She flips a set of car keys to Gus. He catches them. McKenner snatches Marsha up and twirls her around. She responds by smooching his face to death. Gus averts his eyes, moves for the driver's side door. He pops it open and hops in. Interior, big white van, late night. McKenner and Marsha climb in, greeting Zach Zeedot Goen, 29, whose laptop, one of three, shines onto his chubby pale face, plus Phoebe, 25, a grumpy goth, who picks at her chipped matte black nails as Marsha takes a seat beside her.
Z.
We have 20 minutes until the cameras become ours, and then we have 10.
Zeedot sets the laptop aside as Gus brings the van to life. McKenner, Marsha, Phoebe, and Zeedot all throw on black ski masks. McKenner and Marsha both cock their respective handguns. It's on. Interior, big white van, late night, moving. Gus drives easy as everyone waits in the cargo, fully decked out in stealth garb. Phoebe air drums as potent punk rock spills full volume from her headphones. Marsha has her mask rolled up above her nose so she can bump coke off of Zeedot's second laptop. She hands the laptop to McKenner. He rolls the mask up, downs a line. Zeedot washes.
I'll just get you a new one.
This is the new one.
McKenner offers the laptop coke to Gus. Gus declines. McKenner hands the laptop to Zeedot. Then he climbs up, props himself on top of the passenger side headrest.
How many times have we done this, man?
Gus replies by pulling the van into an alley beside two warehouses. McKenner accepts the silence.
Magic.
All right, pilot, surveillance in 45 seconds.
All right, let's go get this.
Marsha pushes the cargo door open. McKenner and Phoebe follow her out. Gus hesitates, staying seated with his hands on the wheel. He looks in the side mirror, watches McKenner pull a freaking shotgun from the van's undercarriage and skip off. Zeedot drops into the passenger seat with his third laptop.
30 seconds.
From the walkie.
Feel the fire, brother.
The molten rock bubbles within Gus.
Feel it.
Gus throws his ski mask on, pops the door, and jumps out. Interior, security surveillance office, late night. Insert computer monitor. 5 camera POVs show varying angles around a warehouse. The 2 guards man the area, each on opposite sides. A clock to the top left counts up from 3:49:58, 59, 4, 4:01, 4:02 a.m. Nothing changes for another 5 seconds. Each guard sits in their seat. Meanwhile, exterior, warehouse, late night. Close up on Gus's watch. 4:08:09. As we hear grunts. Gus approaches. McKenner with his shotgun trained on the first guard, keeping them obediently on their knees. Gus handcuffs the first guard to a light pole, then robs him of his keys.
No fuss, no bullets.
Seconds later, Gus undoes the final padlock to the warehouse gate. McKenner, Marsha, and Phoebe wait behind him.
Inside's clear.
And Gus throws the gate up, opening up to interior, warehouse kennel, late night. Impossibly dark until 3 flashlights sweep light through, revealing a squalid kennel. Whimpers come from wild foxes, caged in deplorable, unforgivable conditions. 4 packed in a cage meant for one. 4 cages total. 16 foxes.
Back it in.
Interior, big white van, late night, moving. Zeedot reverses the van into the parking lot. Someone smacks the cargo door. He unlocks it. It swings open. Marsha and Phoebe heave a cage into the back. Gus and McKenner push the second cage in tight next to it. Interior warehouse kennel, late night. Marsha and Phoebe go for the third cage, except something makes Phoebe pivot for the corner.
Hello?
Shh. Please tell me you hear that.
You're what?
Phoebe points her flashlight to the corner, cordoned off by a massive duvet. Gus and McKenner return for the final cage, pausing as they watch Phoebe yank the curtain. 6 more cages, 24 more animals.
Shit.
That looks to me like more than we bargained for.
AJ told me to look for 4 foxes, 4 cages. He didn't say anything about this.
You missed 24 of these goddamn things?
Even if we had 2 vans.
We only have 1.
We can't leave them.
A moment. Marsha, Phoebe, McKenner share a look.
We don't have space.
Us?
I'm thinking.
Don't have time for thinking.
Guys, we got 7 more minutes.
Gus fidgets with the security guard's keys. The keys. Exterior warehouse parking lot, late night. Gus shows a key to McKenner. McKenner takes it to analyze for himself. The key is for, later, a Chevy Tahoe. Gus removes the third row seating, makes space. Then he folds the second row seats.
4 minutes.
Seconds later, vroom, the Chevy Tahoe roars away. Gus drives it to the warehouse mouth where Zeedot and Phoebe push the 4th cage into the big white van. That's the last of its space. Marsha's the first to see the Chevy Tahoe.
No.
Gus jumps out. He and McKenner storm into the warehouse. Marsha follows them. Interior, warehouse kennel, late night. Gus and McKenner grab hold of 2 cages at once.
No, we're running out of time.
They're not getting left behind. 1,
1,
2,
2,
3.
They lift 2 cages at once.
It wouldn't be our fault. I would have gotten 2 vans or a fucking trailer. This is not on us.
She stomps after them.
Fuck, August?
Exterior warehouse, late night. Gus and McKenner set the cages behind the Tahoe, then briskly push them in on top of the folded seats in the second row. Zeedot appears next to them.
We have 90 seconds before cameras come back online. I cannot get a hold of...
Just leave.
Everyone except for McKenner pauses. He continues into the warehouse. Gus tosses keys to Zeedot.
You, Phoebe, Marsh, go.
No, I'm not leaving McKenner.
Go, man. Come on.
McKenner comes out, puffing with a cage all by himself. He brings it to the Tahoe, where Gus helps put it in. Zeedot and Phoebe get into the van, hightail it out.
We ain't got enough bullets for the cavalry.
Hey, nobody's getting shot, dude.
Well, unless you plan on playing the most futile game of Tetris.
What do you mean?
We still have 1 too many.
Recline the front seat and go without me.
And increase our chances of getting pulled over by 1,000. Plus, you know we're not leaving you behind.
30 seconds.
Gus thinks. A minute later, Gus and McKenner set the final cage on the ground. They open it. Foxes ease out timidly.
Go! Get it! Go, motherfuckers!
Gus kicks the cage. They hear a radio coming from one of the security guards.
Not ours.
Gus kicks the cage and foxes meander. Terrified, unsure. Bang! Bang! They scurry away. Marsha's smoking gun points to the air. Gus and McKenner give her a look. Interior, Chevy Tahoe, late night, moving. Gus speeds the vehicle out of the parking lot, bounces it onto the road. McKenner's in the passenger side with his shotgun. Marsha's wedged behind them in front of the cages. Everyone doffs their ski masks. Gus glances in the rear view and sees a car in the distance behind them. 2 cars.
Fuck.
Keep cool. Everything's peachy.
Gus makes the first turn he can, then crushes the gas down a clear street, running 2 red lights. The 2 cars appear, speeding behind them.
Gus?
Yeah.
He makes another turn, then another, slams gas again. Then he rumbles the vehicle into the empty driveway of a rundown residential house. He cuts the car to sleep, lights out, silence. McKenner cracks his door ajar, ready with his shotgun. Gus cocks his Glock. Bzzz. A phone vibrates. Gus checks his. It's a call coming from Phoebe. As the phone buzzes, the cars that trailed them drive by the rundown house. They wait another 10 seconds. The buzzing stops. McKenner looks at Gus. Marsha looks at Gus. He waits another 10 seconds. Then, vroom! Gus reverses from the driveway onto the residential street, turns the direction he came from, and super speeds away. Marsha squeals with adrenaline glee. She kisses McKenner's face. They have a full makeout session next to Gus. Gus stays focused on the road ahead. Exterior, forest, dawn. Billows of morning fog grace the landscape. A wild fox sniffs fallen leaves, standing just before the mist. It catches sight of Gus, 20-ish yards away, intently observing. He watches with caring eyes. The wild fox scampers away, gone, free. Gus holds it in as best as he can, until he can't. He bursts into tears, joy and pain. Exterior junkyard, evening. An expansive vehicular graveyard. Both the big white van and the Chevy Tahoe are on fire. The glow blends in with sunset. The sound of a guitar being tuned comes from Marsha, evaluating each note by ear. McKenner sits on a neglected but covered beanbag next to her. Ready, Marsha plays. McKenner listens. Marsha pauses. McKenner looks at her.
What?
Nothing. I just remembered it's Saturday, and you're really fucking cute.
Oh, only on Saturdays?
Marsha kisses him.
Storytime, doofus. Saturday stories, remember?
What's convinced you I got interest in stories again?
The fact that you're interesting.
McKenner recalls with a snicker. Marsha plays again.
Tell me where that scar's from. One I came up on the other day.
2 a.m, bouncing at this really sweaty dive shit in Koreatown. 2 of some of the drunkest fucktards I'd ever seen in my life stumble out that son of a bitch hollering. Normally that's great. They'd never be on their way, but except they weren't. They caught eye of this PYT in 6 inchers and latched onto her, harassing her because they didn't get any play. And I, stepped in front of them.
McKenner sets fire to a cigarette, drags it, watching plumes of smoke cross the horizon.
Then what happened?
Now you know why I have a warrant out for my arrest.
Marsha stops playing. She stares at McKenner. Then she lunges nearly out of her seat to kiss him. Exterior junkyard, evening. Elsewhere in the junkyard, Gus watches the fire burn with a numb face. The fire glows in his eyes. Interior, modest apartment complex, night. Music splashes downward from the top floor as Gus jogs up the stairs. He approaches a door with a keypad lock and dials the appropriate code. It opens. Interior, modest apartment, night. 2 ACs and 3 fans blow air onto flyers for animal rights activism and newspaper clippings with pictures of animal rights riots. The cool air circulation is in place for a complex computer setup with hefty multi-terabyte servers manned by Zeedot. Monitors are faced with the dark web. In another room, Phoebe paces while on the phone.
No, AJ, no. There were more than you said there were going to be. Because I have pictures, you shit-gargling imbecile.
Gus closes her door as he approaches Zeedot by the computers.
So, road trip to Humboldt.
Yeah.
Were you the one that said you graduated from there or something?
Zeedot gives a guilty side-eye before turning back to his computers.
Attended.
Zeedot peruses the dark web and scrolls through a dozen pictures of beheaded brown bears. An awful sight.
They sell anything?
No, nobody really seems to know for sure for some reason.
Gus leans forward.
I think it's all the sacrifices. Phoebe tracked this guy down. Sounds like he wants to take them out.
Zeedot pulls up a picture of a Native American man, Dakota, 24, a pointy jaw, with permanent white markings across his forehead and neck.
They killed 17 bears this past year. Cubs made up 11 of them.
Gus glares at more pictures of bloody, beheaded bear cubs. Phoebe bursts out of the room and huffs her way to the kitchen. This breaks Gus's infatuation.
Send me all of these.
The pictures?
And the videos.
Zeedot hesitates, confused, maybe a little concerned.
Okay.
Interior, kitchen, night. Gus comes in to witness Phoebe pricking her finger with exanatide. She wears a shirt with the words, "Do it live."
Fancy seeing you here.
Tell me about Dakota.
Real wacko. Beautiful skin, which by definition means I'm supposed to have a crush on him. You see the video he sent us?
I'm watching it tonight.
I trust him.
Phoebe packs her medicine and stations it in the fridge door.
You know what the name of the tribe means?
Bearskull?
She fashions herself a vodka tonic on the rocks.
You gonna go follow them on Instagram?
No, not exactly.
We're on with Dakota over breakfast tomorrow if you have more questions.
I think you meant to say brunch.
Don't you ever fucking use that term around me again.
Gus chuckles. Phoebe brushes by Gus on her way out the kitchen with her vodka. She turns to him for one last thing.
Marsha's coming up if you wanted a reason to hide somewhere.
Interior apartment complex, night. Gus comes downstairs as Marsha comes up. They stop and look at each other, seemingly for decades.
August?
Are you okay?
That was close, but what about you?
Gus nods. He's about to continue down.
You should talk to him.
Gus stops and turns to her.
Like maybe before we get into a chase we can't get out of?
Flashback, interior, Gus's bedroom, morning. Soothing morning light paints the room. In bed, Gus looks into Marsha's eyes. She's sweaty. She blushes. She giggles and dives back under covers. Heaven on earth. End flashback, interior apartment complex, night. Gus blinks the memory away.
I'm tired.
You're always tired.
I know.
Marsha watches Gus hop downstairs. Interior bathroom, night. A light hanging over the open medicine cabinet flickers. "I am trapped," is written in blood on the mirror. Gus stands before it, staring at the words. Streams of blood in the sink.
Let's get one thing straight. We're not a cult. We never were.
Interior roadside diner, morning. Dakota, a sturdy build, sits across from Gus and Phoebe in a booth by the window. Untouched black coffee before him. He keeps his hands under the table. Gus, sleepless, has no food. Phoebe picks at sausage, eggs, and a bowl of fruit. Dakota bows his head, bothered, ashamed.
The animals. I still hear them suffering. Always suffering.
Yeah, well, they won't have to anymore.
Dakota stares into his coffee.
Like the ancient Dene, Bearskull worships nature. For every tree that man burns, he is indebted equally.
You worship nature, but you kill innocent animals?
Gus, chill out.
The gospel denounces adultery, but your God impregnates another man's wife.
Not my gospel.
Not my tribe. As for your question about the animals, there's always a food chain. They were sacrifices to Nakani, enforcer for the land.
You're saying like Mother Nature has a bodyguard?
Has.
I'm sorry, but is it like a guy or something?
Dakota reflects. Fear simmers beneath his skin.
Is Nakani someone we have to look out for?
No answer from Dakota. He stares at ripples in his coffee. Gus reconsiders the question.
What is Nakani?
Dakota looks up at Gus. Interior, Gus's apartment, day. Insert, computer laptop. The computer cursor clicks on a picture of Bigfoot, the silhouette of a terrifying, giant, hairy ape man standing 8 feet tall. Nakani is in the search bar. This is the result. Exterior forest, day. A strong breeze. Elderly trees sway. Dakota emerges from a log cabin. It's 1 story and big enough for a family of 3. Leaves roll through a ravine close by. He fires up a cigarette and watches a big red van rumble across the foliage. It stops 5 yards away. McKenner pops out from the passenger side.
Really? Sasquatch?
He belts out a primate mating call into the woodland ether. Gus gets out from the driver's side as the cargo door opens. Later, Marsha hangs by the van's cargo, watching Gus and McKenner chat with Dakota. Zeedot inches by her.
Excuse me.
He leans in to grab a small suitcase.
You saw pictures?
Zeedot gathers 3 laptop cases along with them.
Yeah, I've downloaded all the pictures.
I mean, of the great mythical beasts, dude, they're supposedly feed bears to?
Not really. Probably because he doesn't exist.
That doesn't do anything for Marsha's curiosity.
What about this taco guy, whatever is his name?
Dakota.
Didn't exactly get the PowerPoint saying that we can automatically trust him.
They left his month-old baby in a cage with 2 grizzly bears because his brothers started a brush fire. I think his beliefs have changed a little bit since.
Interior, log cabin, day. By the window, McKenner and Marsha equip a pair of black gloves each. Marsha sneaks a kiss onto McKenner's face. Gus notices. McKenner notices that Gus noticed. Feeling guilty, McKenner motions away from Marsha to track Gus down. Marsha lets it happen, reluctantly.
Hey, brother.
Gus turns to him. McKenner didn't have a plan for this. He sees a map on the desk against the wall.
They sedate the hell out of these things. Drop them in this pit. Right?
He places his finger onto a point on the map in the forest labeled Pit. Gus drags his own finger from the pit to a river.
Yeah, anything in there would be out cold now. Between noon and 5 is when tribe activity is most condensed near the river, a mile away. We should be clear to grab the cubs. Call animal control for the mother.
And in case any of them motherfuckers wander from the water...
McKenner reveals an assault rifle. The magazine has green tape.
Some blanks should hopefully be able to scare them away.
He also has a magazine clipped to his utility belt with red tape. Gus clears his throat.
You, got any more questions?
McKenner does, but nothing to do with the plan.
All set, partner. Let's go play.
Exterior, Forest Hill, day. Binoculars, POV. The view cuts across the woods. Behind the trees flows a narrow river. They appear. 4 tribesmen and 2 tribeswomen kneel on either side of the restless water, eerily motionless. Each of them wear masks made of bones, with what appear to be animals' teeth jutting from underneath their skin. Out of POV, Phoebe mans the binoculars atop a rocky hill hiding behind trees. Binoculars POV. She pans the view away from the river, where she locates Dakota, Gus, McKenner, and Marsha hiking a grassy slope shrouded in green. Exterior forest day. Fingers graze a red symbol which is etched into the tree's bark. The symbol is a hastily sketched, hairy humanoid beast. Moments later, Dakota stands at the apex of Small Hill looking down. Gus joins him. They look down at a shallow ditch in the ground, its contents hidden under a layer of branches, stones, and grass. Gus slides down to the outer rim of the pit, gets onto it, and lowers his ear to the rocks. He hears an animal wheezing underneath. Something pushes the makeshift lid upward, a bulge in the branches. Confirmed. Something's underneath. He looks up at the others. Phoebe, binoculars POV. She watches Gus, Dakota, and Marsha remove rocks and branches from the crown of the pit as McKenner keeps watch. Out of POV. Phoebe doesn't realize. A tribesman merely 10 yards away with bow and arrow pointed right at her. Forest. An ungodly howl echoes throughout the land. McKenner whirls for the source. Gus pauses.
Bear?
That was definitely not a bear.
And what was it?
McKenner isn't sure, but he's about to answer. Two hands burst out from under the branches of the pit, grabbing Dakota and pulling him in. He's gone. Marsha and Gus reel back.
Holy shit!
McKenner hastens down the slope. He trips, lands on his face as a long razor wire wraps around his leg. He finds a tribesman nearby with the other end in their hand. They pull. McKenner tries to switch out magazines, but they yank the wire. It retreats and slices McKenner's leg in the process. Blood geysers. Phoebe turns just as an arrow punctures her in the clavicle. She spins to the ground as another punctures her side. Gus whips out a pistol. He takes an arrow through his hand and drops it. He quick scoots for cover near a log, uses his boot to press the arrow up against the log, then breaks it in half. Then he goes for his pistol. An arrow lands right next to it. Then another tribesman, hidden behind the log, grabs the gun away. He and Marsha scurry away from McKenner, who gets his lethal magazine equipped. Just as another razor wire wraps his arm, it's pulled, sliced, blood gushes. The assault rifles yanked away and collected by the tribesmen. They run away. Gus cues his walkie.
Z!
No response. He comes across an injured McKenner holding his wrist and trying to stand.
McKenner? Oh my God.
Other side.
You see any?
No, I don't see anyone. They're gone. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Okay, where's the other one?
Phoebe's got it.
Okay, get his other side.
Someone radio Phoebe.
Back? Phoebe, guys?
By trees marked with red etchings.
Am I gonna go get Phoebe?
Stay here. We're sticking together, all right? Keep an eye out.
Gus looks around. No sign of any tribespeople. The three continue to run. McKenner trips. Gus helps him up. Exterior forest, day. Gus, McKenner, and Marsha come up to where Phoebe was stationed. All that's left are her binoculars and a trail of blood. Marsha's frozen in her tracks.
The fuck? Phoebe?
Let's just go. Follow it.
Another menacing, beastly howl shakes the forest. They look around. Nothing. Just green all around. Interior log cabin, day. A strange groan rattles the cabin. Through the window, we see Gus, a bleeding McKenner, and Marsha trampling through the tree line. Marsha runs forward for the cabin and breaks through the door. She stops in her tracks, stunned. She sees Phoebe on her knees. The arrows have been removed, but she's also bleeding. Every piece of furniture is rummaged. All of their items are missing, like they were never there. Marsha rushes to Phoebe's aid, unsure what to do.
Phoebe? Oh my God, Phoebe, where's Zach? Where was the van? Why didn't I see the van?
Where the fuck is all our shit?
Maybe it's outside. Maybe Zach moved it.
Marsha steps for the front door, but she comes to a stop. Gus is behind her. They see a dozen tribespeople staring at them from the tree line. A grunt garners all their attentions, coming from the log cabin's bedroom. Out comes a brown bear. Inside the cabin with them. Slam! The front door is closed on them.
No!
Marsha runs for the door, tries the knob to no avail. Gus grabs her and shuts her mouth with his hand. He motivates her to the ground and makes her lie face down with him. McKenner winces as he slowly scoots forward, trying to lie down quietly. Phoebe stays kneeled. The brown bear's curiosity brings him to McKenner. He sniffs around McKenner's bleeding leg. McKenner closes his eyes, keeps his cool. Phoebe finally moves. She turns her head slowly and sees the bear by McKenner. She hyperventilates. She whimpers. She scurries for the opposite wall. This gets the bear's attention. It moves for her. She screams. Slowly, Gus uses this opportunity to instruct Marsha.
Take him inside.
Gus unsheathes the machete and draws his mace. The bear bites Phoebe's hand, ripping it in half. Marsha is frozen, watching in horror.
Go!
Marsha moves for McKenner, collects him against his will. He wants to help.
Come on.
He reluctantly limp follows her into the bedroom. Interior, bedroom, day. McKenner collapses to the corner as Phoebe screams from the bear attack.
Where the fuck is Zeedot?
Marsha moves for the living room. He grabs her arm with his trembling hand.
I have to help them.
Gus sprints in with Phoebe in tow. Gus slams the bedroom door shut. He pushes the twin-sized bed, 2 stacked mattresses, against the door. They hear the bear grunting just outside. Phoebe eases the corner opposite McKenner with her eyes closed. Her right hand is shredded. Gus checks her pulse. He removes his top-layered shirt and rips it into pieces.
I need your tape.
Which one?
It doesn't fucking matter. Tape.
He wraps a piece of cloth over her mangled hand as best he can. Marsha provides tape. McKenner pulls his dog tags from underneath his shirt, presses them against his chin while he thinks.
Down out there.
Gus tapes Phoebe's hand. A finger dangles by a string. He's unsure what to do with it.
A dozen?
Gus wraps the almost finger up along with everything else.
You think we're surrounded?
Done. Gus sits on the floor in front of Phoebe and observes her for a while. She fainted, out cold. He doesn't deliver an answer to McKenner. McKenner gets up on his own to look out the murky window. He sees tribespeople in the forest, pushing their van into the nearby ravine.
Found the van.
Gus and Marsha join him at the window.
Probably raided.
I have a little something hidden underneath.
Like what?
Another AR.
Why'd you put a gun under the car?
I always do. Might be our only shot. No pun intended. I don't currently have a plan on how we're supposed to get there.
Okay, that is the $1 million question.
And what about Zach?
Back from the window.
The other $1 million question. Hey,
Gus
what's
back
on
from the window.
what's on your mind, partner?
As McKenner slides back to the ground.
They could have killed us pretty easily.
Jury's still out. 3 of us are bleeding.
This is a very unpredictable way of doing things.
The bedroom doors slightly pushed inward. The brown bear.
Jesus Christ.
Okay, we have to find out what they want.
Oh, look, let's not jump to cerebral shit, all right? We're in a really shitty place and we need to fight our way the fuck out of here.
Their radios erupt with static. Guys! Gus! Gus, McKenner, Marsha all share a stunned look. Phoebe? Gus grabs his walkie.
Z, where are you?
Holy shit! Holy fucking shit. What the fuck? What the fuck?
Okay, Z, where are you?
Like 3 minutes from the cabin. Gus looks to McKenner. They hear bear scratches against the door. Reception cut off out of nowhere, and I've been looking for fucking signal. I started circling back, but I could see the tribe's people are here at the base.
Okay, we are in the cabin, all right? They're surrounding us.
Are you fucking serious?
Yeah, man, we got ambushed.
Is anybody hurt?
Dude, we're pretty fucked up, all right? There's blood.
I'll go get help.
Hold on.
You want me to wait?
You should go.
Okay. Listen, it's too big a trek to the main road. We have no idea if they'll spot him.
There's no alternative.
Gus paces, smacks his head.
There's an alternative, all right.
All right. Listen, Z.
Go.
Tell me what you see, buddy.
The cabin, and these tribes people aren't moving for some reason.
Okay, what about the ravine east of the cabin?
I think I'm southeast.
Okay, Z, see if you can see it.
Are you serious? You're afraid of him getting caught, so you bring him closer?
3 hours through the forest or 2 hours to the van.
Which has a gun, by the way. He could hold them off, maybe scare them away.
McKenner gets up and joins them in the middle of the bedroom as scratches get louder against the door.
Or he can get killed trying to.
I showed him how to use that thing. Wouldn't mind providing a proper refresher over radio.
And those are lethal rounds along with it?
It's a drum, lethal as fuck.
I don't believe this. I don't fucking believe this. You are putting him in danger.
He's already in danger.
Make it his call.
The idea makes Gus pause. He processes.
You can't put that pressure on him. And he already made his mind. He said he would go get help.
That was before he knew there was an assault rifle within arm's reach.
Never shot anyone. He's never killed anyone.
Give the man some goddamn faith, Marsha.
Faith? You can't be serious.
I'm not so sure if I'll make it by the time help gets here, so yeah, I'm pretty fucking serious. I say we try to get the fuck out of here.
He falters again. Marsha rushes to his aid.
Babe? Babe?
I'm fine. I'm just tired of arguing. Gus, your call, man.
Gus elevates the walkie up for his mouth, hesitant. Scratches continue at the door.
Guys, I see the van.
All right, Z, listen, there's an AR with a full drum strapped in the undercarriage.
Holy shit.
Yeah.
What do you want me to do?
Gus hesitates.
Should I try and get it?
You think you can?
I'm not sure.
Doesn't exactly fill everyone with confidence. Gus looks at Phoebe, still out, but breathing.
Dude, we're thinking that maybe you can grab the gun and then maybe shoot at them. You know, maybe they'll run away.
Sounds really crazy.
Yeah, bro, it's pretty fucking crazy. There's also a bear in the cabin.
I'm gonna throw up.
Okay, breathe, man, all right? Just listen to me, breathe.
Gus closes his eyes and takes 6 of the deepest breaths you will ever witness. Then he listens to Zeedot taking breaths, following suit. The door pulsates.
Okay, listen to me. Do what you feel is right, all right? You can take the gun and shoot him, all right? Or you can run and find help or whatever, all right? No matter what happens, it's okay, bro.
They hear Zeedot crying from the other end.
Gus, I'm scared, man. You know, they have weapons and stuff.
I know.
Gus looks at McKenner. McKenner nods.
It's your call, all right? No matter what, it's okay.
Silence. A wheeze and groan come from Phoebe. Everyone whips their attention to her. Gus comes to her side again. She's alive. She's awake. Woozy. Gus analyzes her as her eyes dart about.
Gus.
He takes her good hand. She grabs him tight and snivels into his arm.
I know.
What's happening?
I found the pad.
Gus looks at the others, stunned, holding in their excitement. Marsha gets up and looks out the window.
Went for it.
There.
Gus lifts the walkie to his mouth.
I see him.
Are they moving at all?
They're not.
Marsha frowns at something. Gus notices.
Wait, what is it?
Out the window, Marsha sees an incredibly decked-out tribesmaster, 60, 6'8", and veiny, bulking, crossing by his subordinates, and he's holding the assault rifle.
Marsha?
She's stunned.
Marsha, what is it?
They have it.
The tribesmaster aims the gun towards the cabin. He shoots. Bullets fly through the room. Everyone ducks. Marsha's thrown off the wall. Shots stop. Exterior log cabin, day. There's a low, eerie hum coming from each tribesperson. A ritualistic 8x8 platform is set down before the cabin by 4 tribesmen. Tribeswomen unravel a written scroll, wrapping it around the base of the platform. A varicolored myriad of spices are sprinkled onto the platform and scroll. Interior log cabin, bedroom, day. Gus unfurls from cover and looks around.
No.
He sees McKenner hunched over Marsha, who writhes with several bullet holes oozing blood. Gus rushes over.
I'm okay. I'm okay.
She holds onto McKenner's hand as he cries. Gus averts his eyes from their hands and takes her other hand with his. Then he places her hand over one of her chest wounds, applying pressure.
I'm okay.
Gus rips open Marsha's blouse, seeing a couple of body shots. He checks the rest of her body, making brief eye contact with McKenner.
These went through, so...
Gus doesn't know how to complete that thought. McKenner wants to say something, but doesn't.
Guys? What was that?
Exterior log cabin, day. A basket is presented to Tribesmaster. He removes its covering, reveals the freshly decapitated head of a bear cub. He holds the cub's head over the scroll, letting its head drip blood onto the text. Blood hits the spices, creating smoke. Interior log cabin, day. Stuck in the main room, the brown bear gnaws at the bedroom doorknob, tugging and pushing. Screws come loose. It's unfastening. Interior bedroom, day. Gus gets his arms under Marsha, then carries her to the twin mattresses which is by the door. He sees the knob turning and grabs a hold of it with his good hand, trying to keep it in place.
I'm gonna run. I have to get help. I have to go get help.
Exterior forest, day. Tribesmaster stands tall on top of the platform. The scroll bursts into flame. The platform is now on fire, and he screams up toward the sky. Impressive for a human set of lungs. He screams while fire consumes him. His skin boils, melts off, and yet he screams. It echoes across tree canopies. Interior log cabin bedroom, afternoon. Phoebe looks around. She totters to her feet, propped against the wall. She watches as McKenner limps over to help Gus maintain the door and keep it from twisting. Marsha's eyes wander. They hear the doorknob jangle against the floor on the other side. The knob on their side breaks off. Gus has it in his hand. Gus and McKenner look at each other. They see the bear's snout through the knob's hole. It sniffs in. Gus realizes that it smells Marsha's blood. Exterior log cabin, day. The platform is now a smoldering heap, with Tribe Master's body burnt to a crisp within. Interior log cabin bedroom, day. The bear tries to fit its claw into the door hole, trying to push the door open, but the mattresses and bed frame keep it closed. For now. It grunts and sniffs from the other side, smelling Marsha.
We have to move her.
She's keeping weight on it.
Are you fucking kidding me? What is she, a fucking paperweight?
She is...
Guys,
Gus and McKenner stop and turn to Phoebe. She stands by the busted window looking out.
guys. Zeedot. Oh my God.
Phoebe has a small panic attack as Gus and McKenner rush for the window and see 4 tribesmen throw a gagged Zeedot to the ground and tear his clothes off, leaving him fully naked. He screams and cries through his gag to no avail as they drag his naked skin across the harsh, dry dirt.
No. Where are they taking him?
A leg of the bed frame scratches against the hardwood floor. The bear pushes the door. Gus rushes back to push the door against it, but the bear's full snout is in, its teeth exposed, snapping at the air. Exterior log cabin, forest, afternoon. Zeedot tussles with all 4 tribesmen. One of them lifts him over their head and brings him down. Crack! Breaks his back over their knee. They place him onto his knees in the smoldering rubble beside the burnt tribe master. Zeedot burns. A big tribesman presses his large hands down onto him, keeping him kneeled in the hot wood. A roar overtakes the forest. Tribespeople who were previously still all look to their left. We hear it. Something large, crunching tree branches on its way to the scene. Crackle, crash, the sound of an entire tree crashing down. Tribesmen remove Zeedot's gag, then wrap the scroll around the gas block of the AR-15 and place the tip in his mouth. Everything but the mag. With a large branch, a tribesman take a large swing and whack hammers the rifle down Zeedot's throat. Interior log cabin bedroom, afternoon. The brown bear backs away. Gus and McKenner close the door back and pin the bed up against it once again.
Gus,
Gus looks down at Marsha.
it's gonna be okay.
Gus kneels by her. Phoebe and McKenner hear 2-ton thumps approaching the cabin. Phoebe looks down to see glass skidding across the floor for each step.
It's okay.
A piercing, beastly grunt. The bear pushes against the door harder, forcing the bed frame backward. It's able to fit its entire head in. It bites at Marsha, snags her hair with its teeth. She yelps. They hear the cabin's front door break open. 2-ton steps charge in and something assaults the bear on the other side of the door. Gus and McKenner watch in horror as the brown bear is hefted like a toy. Marsha's hair still clenched in its jaw. She's also pulled up, screaming. The bear is yanked back through the doorway. Marsha's hair is trapped in the closed door. Exterior log cabin, afternoon. The big tribesman brings down another whack hammer, which pushes the gun further down Zeedot's throat. The pistol grip keeps it from growing any further. Interior log cabin, bedroom, afternoon. Gus quick thinks. He grabs glass from the broken window, jumps onto the mattress, and cuts away at Marsha's hair. The whole bedroom rattles. The mattress and bed frame rattles. Gus loses balance. He regains it and cuts her hair free. Marsha falls. McKenner barely catches her. They fall to the ground together. McKenner tries to console her. She can barely whimper.
It's okay. It's okay, baby. It's all right. You're all right. Oh, Christ.
Phoebe, still in a daze, sits on the ground next to them. Loud thumps and thrashes rumble from the other room. McKenner and Phoebe look toward the knob hole. Gus creeps toward it as the rampage continues. Interior log cabin, afternoon. We hear furniture basically explode. From the other side of the door, we see Gus look through the knob hole. He witnesses everything, unblinking. The fight is clearly one-sided. There's a repeated, violent bashing against the floorboard. Bones crunch, the sound of hide and flesh being ripped open. Blood splats onto the door that Gus looks through. The sounds of organs being rifled with. It's over. The 2-ton thumps are calm as the predator paces the living room, heading back outside. Gone. Interior log cabin bedroom afternoon. Gus eases away from the knob hole with a stunned face. The first major chink in his stoic armor. A new level of concern washes over McKenner at the sight of Gus visibly shaking. Gus sits on the floor against the bed frame.
It'd be really great if you said something.
Gus processes, looking at the group for forever.
Bigfoot eats bears.
Exterior log cabin forest afternoon. Both Zeedot and Tribe Master's bodies are gone. Nothing is left over but a soot-filled patch from the fire. In unison, Tribe's people take 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 steps forward, closing in on the cabin. They stop. 2 tribeswomen bring a floral crown to one tribesman in particular. He's crowned and dressed with new tribal garbs with his back to us. Interior log cabin, bedroom afternoon. Gus sits in a stunned stupor. He gulps a trauma lump down his throat. McKenner cries over a fading Marsha. Phoebe's breathing is labored. She licks her clammy lips.
My blood sugar is kind of fucked. Anyone else thirsty?
I could use some water.
Gus doesn't answer.
What's the next step? I don't hear shit, so they're done, right?
I don't know.
You suppose we sit around till we find out?
I don't know.
She's not doing well, man.
I know.
Oh, that you fucking know.
Gus gets up to his feet, still processing.
Guys, I don't feel good.
Gus's pragmatism resurfaces. He can't help it. Seconds later, Gus peers out the window from the corner, sees tribespeople closer than they were before. Phoebe's behind him.
Do we wait?
No, we can't.
Gus turns to Marsha. She can't afford to wait. Phoebe acknowledges.
What's going to happen if you don't?
I had a stroke before. Not fun.
Gus nods. Gus thinks.
You think Zeedot is...
I don't know, but we haven't heard anything.
Another question weighs on Phoebe.
Did you really see it?
Gus nods.
What do you think it wants?
The one thing we tried to do.
We don't have any weapons.
You know I've created meth mouth with my bare hands. Give me some goddamn credit here, man.
Okay. I believe in you, McKenner.
Thank you.
What if we negotiated?
Any of these fuckers speak English, you think?
Dakota did, didn't he?
Yeah. So did his wife.
An idea hits Gus. He formulates.
She's in the tribe.
The idea hits Phoebe and McKenner.
Really think she's still around?
According to Dakota, yeah. They had disputes because she wouldn't leave.
Doesn't sound exactly like someone we can reason with.
Yeah, well, we've talked down much worse in Iraq on hot summer days.
They weren't exactly summoning mythological beasts.
Yeah, well, it was 72 virgins.
Technically, those exist.
Yeah, so does whatever I just saw. What was her name again?
Phoebe pulls her hair, trying to recall.
Mia, fucking something. Wow, okay. May? Shit.
Phoebe paces, trying to remember. McKenner pulls Gus aside.
Hey, how do you supposed to we reason with Mrs.?
Zeedot knew more about Takota than we were supposed to. Addresses, associates, including people that might be here. Z had pretty much every piece of evidence.
That they've removed from the premises.
We can tell them that we already put it to use and the feds are on the way or on standby or something. You know, we can call them off. We can tell them if they let us go, we will call them off. Something like that.
So we're bluffing.
Partially bluffing.
Matahi! I think it's Matahi.
Well, we need you to be sure.
Then I'm fucking sure.
Well, are you sure that you're sure?
I'm this close to kicking you.
McKenner surrenders. Gus looks over at Marsha.
Someone's got to stay and look after Marsh.
It should be you. Phoebe should come with me.
Excuse me, am I being fucking volunteered?
Yes, you are.
Phoebe huffs.
That's some serious weak sauce.
Interior log cabin, afternoon. The bedroom door opens ever so slightly. Gus's face is on the other side looking out. The living room is clear, except for furniture debris and dispatched pieces of bear, limb chunks, organs. He hears only the sound of flies buzzing over whatever remains of the carcass. He opens the door further. A moment later, Gus eases for the doorway. The front door is laying on the ground. Merely 22% of the bear is strewn over it. Phoebe follows a few feet behind him, holding her nose and mouth against the horrible smell. Gus sees massive, primate-like footsteps outlined in fresh blood, all over the place, finally leading outside. Interior log cabin bedroom, afternoon. McKenner sits with Marsha in bed. He plays with her disheveled, saliva-soaked hair. Her skin pigment fades. Her lips are bluish.
Babe?
McKenner kisses her bluish lips.
Yeah.
Tell me a story.
McKenner can only look into her eyes. He sighs. A tear rolls down Marsha's face.
I know it's not Saturday, but
You could say it's a special occasion, to say the fucking least.
tell me a story about you in August.
McKenner's eyes wander. Memories develop behind them. Exterior log cabin forest, afternoon. Gus steps out from behind the busted doorway and engages a dozen tribespeople. Men, women, all shapes, sizes, ages, degrees of fucking scary. Each with tailor-made masks made of bone. Some have foreign animal bones stuck in their flesh, jutting out across their chest and shoulders. Gus sweeps a look across them, secretly sizing them up. He sees their razor wires, knives, hatchets, quivers full of arrows. Phoebe tentatively appears just behind him.
There's a reason we're still alive.
Interior log cabin bedroom, afternoon. McKenner recalls.
We were posted doing some screenings by a checkpoint in Mangesh, looking for IDs and all that. And this kid, Jamal, he rolls up on us saying he's got candy. Now, mind you, I recognize the kid from a week ago. I gave him a Snickers bar. I ain't want. You know I ain't about that peanut life. Even better, the little fucker says he's bringing it back to me. So he pulls it out.
Is it all squished or something?
Not quite. It was a fucking 45 Glock pointed straight at me.
Marsha's smile goes away. Exterior log cabin forest, afternoon. Gus scans the Dina tribespeople. He notices 3 sets of couples who share the same set of white paint patterns along their necks. He finds a lone tribeswoman. Her neck patterns are flashback, interior roadside diner day, the same patterns that were apparent on Dakota's neck. End flashback. Exterior log cabin forest afternoon. Gus stares at her.
Matahi.
He notices subtle movement from this female. Her eyes, barely visible behind her mask, are firmly attentive.
We know who you are.
Interior log cabin bedroom afternoon. McKenner continues.
So we're all 0.1 seconds from sending this kid to the afterlife via the bullet train. And Gus, he strolls up to the kid, don't got his weapon drawn. I'll never forget, because it felt so fast and like a million years, you know, at the same time.
Flashback exterior, Mangesh Desert, day. The dirt bakes under triple-digit rays. Gus, of the Marine Corps and in his full BDU, laden in nearly 40 pounds of gear, crouches before a young boy, Jamal. Gus presses the muzzle of Jamal's gun to his own forehead and stares at the kid. End flashback, interior log cabin bedroom afternoon. McKenner's lost in the memory.
He made the kid press the trigger. It wasn't loaded. That's one way to get discharged.
Exterior log cabin forest afternoon. Gus takes a step towards Matahi. Tribesmen draw their bows and arrows on him. He raises his hand. Phoebe takes cover back inside.
I know they killed your son. Now, I have friends here that don't deserve to die. All right, we just cared about the animals. We didn't have any intention on hurting anyone, all right? We came here to defend your kid. And look, it's important that you know that one of my partners has dirt on the stuff happening here, all right? We know someone that works for the feds, all right? Now, they were supposed to hear from us an hour ago, and if they don't, they come straight here. And that's not a battle anyone here is gonna win, okay? So it's not a battle that has to happen.
Matahi breaks her still posture and glances around.
Now, if you don't want that, you can let us go, and we'll stop it. No more people have to get hurt. That's a promise. You let us go, no one has to get in trouble.
Interior, log cabin bedroom afternoon. McKenner notices something on the ground. He reaches down and picks up a scrunched up bullet covered in blood. He analyzes it. Realization smacks him like an angry pimp. He stumbles for the window and looks out, still seeing the front grille of the big red van poking out from the ravine. Exterior log cabin forest. Gus pleads to Matahi, inching closer towards her.
Please, let my friends go.
The tribe doesn't respond.
Please. They're on their way.
He's bluffing.
Gus freezes, not knowing from whom that remark came from.
No, I'm not. All right, I promise you, it's in everyone's best interest that you believe me.
A tribesman steps forward and removes his mask. It's Dakota. Alive and unscathed, he steps towards Gus.
Our presence on the grid, dark as it may be, is not a coincidence. You've looked into my background. I've observed yours. And I know you speak lies of desperation. No one is coming.
They killed your son.
Yes. We did.
We?
As part of my debt.
Gus thinks, realizes.
And you haven't paid in full yet.
My son, my brother, myself, and my wife.
Dakota and Matahi look at each other with understanding.
Plus 4 more lives at sunset when Nakani returns. With 8 infractions, I will settle my debt with 8 offerings. This includes you and your friends.
Gus looks around. The sun is barely above the trees. clock is ticking.
And if he takes it?
He'll crush you. He'll break you. He'll dismember you. The parts inside you will garnish his nightly feast. He'll use your white skin to wipe his shit consisting of you and flush it down the river.
Phoebe covers her mouth. The idea terrifies her.
If he declines, you may be spared.
9. I counted 9 if you count my friend, Zachary Gowan.
Whether Nakani takes you or not has little bearing on our discretion. I said you may be spared.
Gus glares at Dakota.
I suggest you go back in. It's in your very best interest to remain on our good side.
Gus keeps his glare on Dakota, staring almost through him. He relents. Interior log cabin, afternoon. Gus hides by the doorframe, looking at her heavily bandaged hand. Gus re-enters, showing her his worried face.
Phoebe?
Yeah.
We're gonna get out of here.
Phoebe can only look at him.
We have to.
Interior log cabin, bedroom, afternoon. Gus comes in to find McKenner limp pacing around.
Okay. They're gonna kill us in 20 minutes. Tops.
McKenner's frozen. He looks at Marsha. She's fading, but still has the energy to totally not like what she just heard.
Not fully prepared for you to elaborate, but I'm afraid I'm gonna need you to.
All right. Dakota is alive. He brought us here as a way to pay his debt.
Another level of what the fuck washes over McKenner's face, but he fidgets with the bullet.
What are we gonna do?
Gus watches McKenner fidget.
Well, what is that?
McKenner checks the bullet to Gus. Gus catches it and observes.
A bullet?
45.
From the rifle they took from us.
Gus chucks it back. McKenner catches it.
Correct. From the AR-18 I had in the forest. Undercarriage of the van has an AR-15 semi-auto. The drum's full of 223s.
It hits Gus.
Okay, they didn't find the gun under the van.
Pretty darn lucky they didn't find it. If we can somehow find out, then we're cooking with grease. Possibly shooting with bullets.
Gus stews on the idea.
I want to find out. If we have 20 minutes to live, I'd rather part of it be spent out there.
Yeah.
A moment. McKenner nods.
Okay. We could storm out. All right, we don't have any ways to distract them, but we have enough cover against the arrows and their other shit. Maybe we can use these mattresses.
Gus looks at the bed containing Marsha. She lies there motionless, her eyes wide. McKenner notices too.
Hey, Marsh!
Gus sees her fingers twitch. He motions for the bed and sits beside her. Marsha looks over at him. She reaches out, caressing his face with the tip of her fingers. She slowly pans a swimmy look to him. Her eyes meet his eyes. His fingers lock with hers.
I guess.
We're gonna fight, all right? We'll get you help.
That make you happy?
Gus's face numbs. Flashback, interior Gus's bedroom, morning. Brightly washed sun. Shadows from window blinds paint the walls. Gus and Marsha make love, tender. She blushes. Later, they play cards while lying down. Marsha giggles and knocks Gus's cards away. They flutter. In slow motion, we watch playing cards descend, landing on the rug. Interior log cabin, bedroom. Gus looks into Marsha's eyes. It's all he can do.
Yeah. Yeah.
Did that make you sad?
I was always sad.
Sad about me?
Gus swallows the answer. He shakes his head, no. McKenner clears his throat.
I think the sun's starting to hide.
I'm sorry.
A tear rolls across her face. She means it.
All right, we're gonna use the mattress. All right, we need to move you again.
Gus is about to, but Marsha won't let go of him.
Come on.
He comes back to her level and kisses her hand. A breath leaves him. He misses her touch, any touch. He just as quickly lets her go. McKenner has words. He keeps them. Seconds later, McKenner helps Marsha sit on the floor in the corner. Gus slides one of the twin mattresses off of the bed frame.
All right, another thing. I saw soot on their fingertips. About 6 of them, women, elderly.
Participators in their nut job rituals?
Well, only 4 are actually with weapons. All right, the same that attacked us. 2 by the ravine.
Bullish of you to like those odds. But maybe we can outrun the rest. How are we going to know when they're occupied?
Gus thinks on it.
I'm not sure. I don't think we will.
Winging it. I like it.
Gus kicks 2 legs off of the bed frame.
Weapons.
And?
Gus unsheathes his machete and starts sharpening the wood.
Speaking of all my goddamn languages, let's get to work.
Exterior forest afternoon. The greenscape is lush and well hydrated. Tribespeople etch symbols into another platform. Done, they carry the platform through the forest. By the river, the contents of a leather wallet are poured into the coursing water. The items include Zeedot's non-driver's ID card and a Polaroid photograph of Zeedot with his mother in a hospital bed, both smiling. The items are washed away. Dakota stands in the river, water wrapped around his waist. 4 tribeswomen, including Matahi, place a makeshift flower crown onto his head, akin to the tribesmaster's decoration. Interior log cabin bedroom, afternoon. Gus cuts a slit into the first twin mattress, removes some of the cushion to make it lighter, forces his arm into it. It's now a shield. He tests lifting it off the ground. It's viable.
All right, I got this on my own.
He sets the mattress aside, then tapes a weapon, sharp wood and glass taped together, to Phoebe's band hand forearm. McKenner helps Marsha to her feet. She can barely keep her eyes open, let alone stand.
Go ahead.
McKenner motivates Marsha to hop onto Gus's back.
Oh.
She clings onto Gus's back. McKenner uses a t-shirt and tape to secure her.
Still better than basic training, I bet.
McKenner then tapes a weapon to his bad arm.
Feel like this would be a good time if anyone knows where that Coke is.
Gus and McKenner think about it. They don't exactly hate the idea, but they're not in a position to love it.
Just saying. I want to do all the drugs before I die.
McKenner uses his good arm to grab the right handle of the second mattress, which has already been half gutted.
As Gramps said to me about Vietnam a million times, death was like a drug. Care to join?
That's stupid as shit.
Not in the middle of a war, it ain't.
A tribesman appears in the window. He snatches Phoebe by her hair and nearly yanks her out. She yelps. Gus and McKenner let go of their respective mattresses and rush for the window, trying to get his hands off. Gus swings the machete down, chops a massive gash into the tribesman's arm. They reel back, letting her go. Another tribesman kicks the door in, but it doesn't open fully due to the bed frame being there. He pushes in, the bed frame gives just as he sticks his head through. Whack! He catches a machete with his face. Hella blood oozes from the massive gash over his nose, courtesy of Gus. Gus pulls the body in and throws them aside. McKenner slam dunks his wooden shank into their skull to finish the job.
Fuck!
All right, let's go.
McKenner pulls the shank out and files out behind Gus. Exterior log cabin forest, afternoon. Tribespeople carry the platform out in front of the log cabin. They stop when one notices a mattress carried out by Gus with Marsha strapped to his back. Another mattress behind him held by McKenner and Phoebe. 3 tribesmen attack with a flurry of arrows. Some of them bounce off the mattress. Others penetrate but stall. Gus, McKenner, Phoebe sidle run away from the log cabin, sandwiched between the mattresses they're holding. It's a desperate shit show as arrows whiz by, but the ravine and truck are in sight. Dakota's angered, but he sees the sun setting. He snags his wife, making a beeline for the platform. Tribeswoman quickly wrapped the scroll around the base of the platform. A tribeswoman accidentally drops the jar of spices. McKenner stumbles, breaking and slowing the mattress shuffle. He and Phoebe's backs are exposed. An arrow flies right into his left calf muscle. He gets up and does the best he can to catch up with Gus. Gus turns around. His mattress catches arrows. 2 tribesmen rush him, trying to grab the mattress away. Dakota tries to garrow the spices from the soil and pour it onto the scroll himself with the help of others. It's not as neat as the prior sacrifice. A bear's head is presented. Its blood is dripped onto the scroll. There's smoke, but no flame. Gus thrusts the machete through the mattress. It cuts into a tribesman's chest. Gus does it again and stabs them again. They fall back. He wrestles with the other tribesman for the mattress. McKenner feels the other side of his mattress drops. He looks over.
Phoebe. Phoebe!
Phoebe's face is slanted. She tries to speak, but her words slur.
Hey, you're having a stroke. Hold on.
McKenner tries to grab her hand to keep her up, but it proves too challenging with the mattress beside him. He's tackled to the ground. A tribesman's on top of the mattress with him under it. Another tribesman grabs Phoebe just as she falters. He clamps his big hands to each side of her face. With a smile, presses her face into the bones jutting from her chest. She slur cries. He pulls her off. Her left eyeball is stuck to a bone. She bleeds all over. He does it again, again, again. Dakota climbs to the top of the wooden platform, but he's held back as Matahi hesitates.
Matahi!
She's frozen, jittering.
Matahi!
Gus pushes the tribesman down with a mattress on top of them. They try to spring up, but psh! Gus maces them in the face. They cry, crumple back down with a burning face. Then Gus guns it towards the tree line with Marsha on his back. Arrows hit the tree bark near his head. He stumbles through the dense foliage, leaps over logs. Gassed, he pushes on. He sees the big red van upright against the slope of the ravine. He runs, pulling something from his pocket, arrows whizzing by him. The car fob. He presses. Boop, boop. It's awake. McKenner struggles to get from under the mattress. The tribesman on top of him equips their razor wire. He goes for McKenner's neck. McKenner grabs their hands, keeping them away. McKenner sees his wooden shank fall off and on the ground beside them, just out of arm's reach. Dakota approaches Matahi. She removes her mask, revealing streaks of tears across her face.
I miss him. I miss our child.
Dakota glowers at her.
The soil's purpose reaches beyond that of the flesh.
He slaps her. She falls to the ground. He stands over her, looking down. Then he raises his foot and brings it down with authority, breaking her leg in half. She screams. She pleads. He sees her plea, and he responds by breaking her other leg in fucking half. He snatches her up from the ground and throws her onto the wooden platform. Flames erupt from the scroll. Matahi's feet catch fire. She cries, screams, and wails. McKenner continues the power struggle against the tribesman on top of him. The razor wire inches for his neck as exterior forest evening. 2 tribesmen with quivers run down the ravine slope. Gus makes it to the van and takes cover on the other side just as arrows hit it. He unties Marsha, setting her down on the safe side. Then he motions his hands under the undercarriage. Searching. Fuck it. He goes under. Finds it. An AR-15 assault rifle with a whole drum magazine full of ammo. He unstraps the gun from the undercarriage. He sees the tribesman sprinting in from 20 yards away. He briefly struggles to unbuckle the drum. 10 yards away. The drum falls. He fumbles with it. Got it. He smacks it in. Clack, clack, baby. He shoots. And mows them down to the ground. Another caca, and he splits their scalps open. Exterior log cabin forest, evening. Dakota holds the struggling Matahi in place as the fire consumes them. The smoke muffles her cries. Dakota howls out of the sky as their skin boils. Matahi passes out, fully engulfed. McKenner struggles. A second tribesman appears next to him. They grab the wooden shank and stab him in the shoulder. He yells in pain. Kaka! Their heads split open. Their blood showers McKenna's face. He wriggles from under the mattress in agony. Kaka! Gus keeps other tribespeople away from McKenner. They take shelter near the log cabin or behind the trees. Gus runs for McKenner. A tribesman tries to jump out at them. Kakak! Gus guns them down. McKenner uses Gus to climb up. McKenner in one hand, the AR in the other, whirling it around to evaluate whatever threat is left. There's a lot of blood on the right side of McKenner's shirt. He cries into Gus's stomach. Gus's jaw clenches at the sight of Phoebe lying in the ground dead. But they have to get out of there.
Come on. Come on.
He helps McKenner towards the tree line. Exterior forest, evening. They struggle downhill. Tribespeople flash by the trees on either side of them. Gus panics, rolls around with a gun. The roar of the beast rattles the forest. Birds fly away in fear. The sound of a tree falling in the distance. Gus and McKenner look in the direction of the fallen tree. They see nothing but indecipherable green.
Come on. Come on.
Exterior forest ravine, evening. Gus and McKenner slide down the slope into the ravine where the big red van awaits. Gus brings McKenner to the van and opens the cargo. He heeds tribesmen at the ravine's apex. He kakaks them into hiding. One might be hit. Another reverberates the land. He pushes McKenner into the big red van. Interior, evening. McKenner sobs over an immobilized Marsha. She looks at him with fading, weary eyes.
Marsha, baby, hey.
Gus climbs into the driver's seat just as, bash! A rock hits the windshield. He ducks, rolls the window down and points the AR-15 out. Kakak for a good measure. Exterior log cabin forest, evening. We hear 2-ton steps approach the rubble. Dakota and Matahi completely charred. The scroll text is pulled off the platform. Interior log cabin bedroom, evening. 2-ton steps approach the bedroom door. No one's inside. An angry grunt, followed by a really fucking angry grunt, followed by a roar. Interior log cabin, evening. The really fucking angry roar blows out all of the goddamn windows. Interior big red van, evening. Gus uses his free hand to plug the keys into the ignition. The van starts. He backs it up. Bash! Another rock hits the windshield, making it harder to see. Gus pushes the van through the ravine. It's bumpy as fuck ride. He tries to avoid rocks and branches. McKenner hangs onto Marsha on this roller coaster. Gus veers for the slope, trying to get the van over it, out of the ravine, but it can't get traction. He straightens the vehicle out, backs up onto another slope, then uses the momentum to override the lack of traction. The van falls back into the ravine. McKenna struggles into the passenger side.
Not gonna work. It's not built for this shit.
Gus tries again. It doesn't get over the ridge. Falls back again. Gus thinks.
We could push it.
I don't got enough in me to help you with that.
Then what the fuck do you suggest?
We'll see where it leads. Maybe a bridge, A bridge means a trail means a road, maybe help.
The nearest bridge is back that way.
I didn't say that, and being the nearest option automatically makes it the best option.
McKenner points out of Gus's passenger side window.
Keep going that way and we'll figure it out.
Gus vacillates the idea. He plugs the key in and turns. The engine sputters, coughs. No ignition. He tries again. It neighs like a horse with lung cancer. Nada. Gus bangs the wheel.
Give me the gun.
What?
Gus looks out McKenner's window and sees two tribesmen running across the ravine. They disappear behind respective trees on either side. Silence. Just the sound of the breathing forest. Gus carefully hands the assault rifle over to McKenner. He points it out his window. They listen. They wait. McKenner keeps his eyes on a cluster of trees in particular, ready to blast away. Gus tries the ignition again. He sighs, realizing.
Maybe I can see what's up under the hood.
I think we should grab her and hoof out.
They will catch up to us.
They already caught up to us.
We have cover.
We have bullets.
Gus digs through the seat console and finds a small wrench.
How many?
McKenner's face tells us that he doesn't think it's as much as he'd like it to be.
And there is something else.
What's that?
Another roar echoes throughout the... McKenner keeps his eyes on the forest. Gus thumbs the hood release. Dunk. Then he quietly pops his door open and eases out of the car. Exterior forest, ravine, evening. Gus takes cover beside the van. He crouch walks for the left of the hood. It's ajar. He opens it. He gets ready, then leans over to look under the hood. 4 full seconds. A tribesman appears from behind his tree with a bow and arrow pointed at the van. Kick-hack! McKenner throws him off with bullets, knocking him down along with some unlucky tree branches. Their arrow sails way off. McKenner pans the gun to a pair of feet that just hid behind another tree. Someone's there. Another set vanished behind another tree.
They're rolling in on us, man.
Tree branches snap in the distance. Gus quickly diagnoses the car's issue.
Well, the starter's a fucking disaster.
Beautiful. Fix it, please.
A tribesman flashes between the trees. Kick-hack! McKenner sends wayward bullets. An arrow flies. Crack! He flinches as it just misses his head, hitting the window frame. He rolls his window up, just enough to cover behind it, but keep the gun sticking out. Gus scrubs the starter with his sleeves, scraping corrosion off. Then he bangs the starter with a wrench. McKenner sees tribespeople flashing through the trees. He cackles at them, shoots one down. Another roar, much closer.
News!
Try it.
Gus runs for cover beside the van, away from arrows.
Me? Fuck!
McKenner takes his eye off the forest, reaches for the ignition, and it neighs, then turns on. Another roar, much closer. Twigs skitter across the van's hood. Gus hurries back into the van as arrows and rocks pelt it. More things crack the glass. He takes the wheel.
Let's punch it! Punch it! Go!
Gus kicks the life out of the gas. Bash! A tribesman's body crash lands into the van's windshield. Both men freeze and gawk at the tribesman's jaw, completely ripped from his face. Exterior forest, evening. Tribesmen scramble for their lives. One is tossed high into the air. Grunt! Another's face is smashed into a tree, splits his head into 5 chunks. Grunt! Another tribesman is punched into the back by a force so insane that his heart erupts from his chest. Exterior forest, evening. Gus pulls the dead tribesman off the car, steals his bow and a few arrows. He goes back into the driver's seat. McKenner's completely still, looking ahead. Gus follows his look. Through the broken windshield, they can barely see it. A 9-foot, all-muscle behemoth covered in grimy gray hair. ruby red eyes that nearly glow. Half some kind of primate, half some kind of human, the scariest presence you can ever see through an obliterated windshield. Gus puts the van in reverse and drives backward as fast as the van allows. He whips around, pointing the truck in that direction, and he guns it as much as possible down the ravine. He sees it, the Nakani, a legendary king of hairy deathmongers, run up the slope and back into the forest as he continues forward. It's gone. Moments later, Gus drives with big, wide eyes. The van isn't doing well. Something scrapes in the van's undercarriage. It nearly upends, coming to an unpleasant stop. It won't go any further. The end of the ravine is just ahead anyway. McKenner shook. Gus looks in his side mirror. No signs of anything. He breathes a 35-second sigh of relief. McKenner brings a shook look to Gus. Gus looks back at him.
Was that him?
Yeah.
McKenner looks around.
You think we lost him?
I have no fucking idea.
McKenner rubs his face.
Well, I guess that was the only bridge. Back that way.
He was also back that way.
What are you... How?
Something crosses McKenner's mind. He glances back at Marsha. Then he unbuckles his seatbelt and clambers into the cargo.
Babe.
Gus gets out of the van. Exterior forest, car, evening. Day escapes. Gus sees the van's tires completely worn down and punctured to hell. It's propped up by a collection of branches. But the coast appears clear. For now. Gus closes his eyes and has a moment. A breeze sweeps through. Trees speak. Nature will always be nature. Gus can feel it. He rests, only for a moment. He opens his eyes, then opens the van's cargo to reveal McKenner crying over Marsha's body. Her arms and hands are completely limp. Gus tries her wrist. His face says it all. She's gone. Gus climbs into the cargo, sits across from them, watching McKenner weep. Gus stares into space. Exterior forest evening. Marsha's dead body lies under a beautiful thick layer of autumn leaves and branches. Her eyes wide open, staring into the lavender sky. Her face is arctic cold. Big red van evening. The orange in the sky says its last goodbye. Gus and McKenner sit in the cargo across from each other. Defeated, exhausted, in many different forms of pain.
It won't budge.
McKenner doesn't reply.
South leads to more forest. West and north are our options. There's a bottle of water in here if you're thirsty.
McKenner doesn't reply.
McKenner.
I wish we
McKenner? About what?
Dude, you know, about how you felt, what I felt, what she felt.
I know what she felt.
Yeah? Yeah, what was that?
That she liked someone more than she liked the other. You know, maybe she never liked the other.
Yeah, it was never that simple, man.
I had to simplify it.
What about you? Tell me.
She's dead.
And we're not.
You?
Gus holds it back. A year's worth of feelings bubble upwards.
You would have said to break it off, I would have. If you wanted us to disappear, I would have. If you were okay with it.
What do you think?
I'm tired of what I think, dude. Fuck!
I felt like I did when my mom handed me over for smack and left me in the bleachers of a baseball field.
You were a baby.
I'm pretty fucking sure I was crying.
A moment. Gus clears his throat.
She was the only girl that I was ever with. She tell you that?
McKenner's face indicates that she didn't. Gus loses his battle with tears. It's a messy, ugly sob. McKenner can only watch.
I don't know why, all right? But I feel like I always know why not.
Gus reels it back.
Sometimes I imagine she was relieved because she didn't have to deal with me anymore, you know? Like my own mother.
McKenner sits in extremely deep thought. Gus discreetly collects the gun. Then he presses the muzzle just under his chin. McKenner takes notice. His eyes go extremely wide.
Gus?
What?
This isn't fucking funny.
Gus's breath trembles.
Hand that shit over, okay? Stop fucking around.
I feel trapped in some kind of void, man. I've always trapped. I want to get out.
Do me a favor, okay? Hand it over. I'm not joking.
I want to get out. 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 I want to get out.
You think that just because I banged up, I won't rip that shit out of your goddamn hands? Quit it and hand the fucking thing over, okay? Unless you want me to come over there and kick your fucking ass, dude.
McKenner slowly leans forward, closer, closer as Gus cries over the gun. Almost there.
I just want to get out.
I know. Your mom left you to die. I remember you told me that about the orphanage where that lady touched you, right?
Gus is at war with his mental pain.
And you and me, we done seen all kinds of shit we ain't expect to see in Afghanistan. You've always fought for something. Your country, your furry friends, your people friends, the whole fucking planet. And that's the problem. When was the last time you fought for yourself? I'm here to help you.
McKenner's hands get closer.
I know you're not okay. But you're all right to me. Come on.
And McKenner snatches the AR-15 from Gus, throws it aside. Then he wraps Gus in a hug. Gus unloads it all.
Yeah, man. Yeah.
They let go. McKenner snatches up the rifle and sets it in his lap.
Finally.
McKenner has a few tears of his own. Gus recovers. A moment later.
I'm sorry, man.
Yeah. You ready for a hike?
The sound of a tree snap, crack falling in the forest. They know what it means. Gus and McKenner step out. Exterior forest ravine, evening. It's getting dark. Gus and McKenner scan their green-filled surroundings. They hear tree logs crunching in the forest, like thunder.
Our buddy?
Or just a tree.
They hear its trademark howl.
Oh, not just a tree.
A noise brings their attention to their right. More tree logs crack in the distance.
Odds it can flip our car over.
A lot.
Think we should move in any particular direction?
I'm thinking.
Well, we may not have time to fucking think about this shit.
I'm thinking that we...
McKenner looks at Gus as Gus unsheaths his machete.
Talk to me.
Gus snaps to his right. Shroop comes a rock that's been hurled from the tree line. It hits him in the face. Blood splats and Gus goes down holding his eye. Another shroop. A rock hits McKenner down. He kacks as he stumbles back. Air barely makes it out of his throat. His windpipe's crushed. Gus whirls around with the machete pointed everywhere. He looks down, sees McKenner struggling for air. McKenner claws for Gus's leg.
Can you stand? Can you?
He sees a freakish indent in McKenner's throat. They hear Nakani howl laugh from behind the thick tree line. Gus brings McKenner to his feet. They dash for the forest, Gus nearly dragging McKenner as he wheezes. He grabs the gun from McKenner, revealing a major bruise to the side of his now bloody red eye. He kicks. We barely see Nakani dive for cover behind the big red van. Gus and McKenner move further into the forest. Exterior forest, night. Only moonlight guides Gus and McKenner, and barely. McKenner wheezes as they limp run through the thickness. They hear a howl laugh not too far behind. Gus shoots. Each muzzle flash reveals Nakani for a millisecond. He's gone. They trip down a hill, sliding into a shallow pit. Exterior pit, night. Gus sees something directly in front of him. He clicks his flashlight on briefly, showing a myriad of bear remains, mostly bones, but some flesh still rotting. He pans his flashlight over and finds Zeedot's dismembered body with the AR-18 sticking out from his throat. Gus sees McKenner struggling. He cuts the lights off and crawls over to him. McKenner snatches Gus's collar, a last gasp of it.
Hey, no man left behind. Hey.
Gus takes McKenner's hand.
Hey, look at me. No one gets left behind, okay? Hey, stay with me.
McKenner nods. Gus helps McKenner up. Then he boosts McKenner over the edge of the pit. McKenner barely climbs out. Nakani's big fucking foot stomps down onto McKenner's head. His brain manor flies for 8 yards. McKenner drops back into the pit with the top half of his head super crushed. Nakani reaches in, grabs Gus, and exterior forest night. It chucks Gus 10 yards. He hits a tree and lands hard in the soil. Gus fights to his feet, tottering, searching until he finds the gun. He straps it over his shoulder as he runs. Moments later, he runs out to a clearing. No trees for a few acres. Lightning rips across the sky. As rain begins, Gus glances back at the tree line he just escaped, seeing nothing. And then Gus makes it down a large hill. He drops to his knees, abused by the rain. He looks back up the incline he just came down. Lightning reveals Nakani's imposing silhouette and red glowing eyes at the crown of the hill. Nakani treks downhill, straight for Gus. Gus clambers back for his feet and stumbles through the forest. He lands at the apex of another small hill. But down below, a river. Gus descends for the river. He gets into the water and dives under. We see red eyes floating through the trees. Nakani descending down the hill for the water as well. But it doesn't see Gus. It moves along the bank, seeing no clues, hearing no distinct sounds. It whiffs the air for Gus's scent, but nothing. Angry, it barks into the night sky. Exterior forest river, night. The water flows violently. Gus emerges to the surface, gasping for air, grasping at anything stable along the bank. Exterior forest, night. Gus climbs out, re-entering the forest. He pukes river water. He sits on the ground, disassembles the assault rifle, pours water from its orifices. He stifles a mental breakdown. Barely. Exterior forest, morning. Billows of morning mist, soaked tree bark. Gus sits against a tree, deeply exhausted. His eyelids droop. He thinks about... Quick flashback. He and McKenner, heads pressed together during military boot camp. But he won't let himself rest. He gets up, gun in tote, machete sheathed. He moves forward. Moments later, Gus finds a trail with human shoe prints. He follows them. A glimmer of hope crosses his pained, bruised face. He hears people. His step gains pep. It turns brisk.
Help?
The voices seem fleeting.
Help!
Gus clears his throat.
Help! Help!
Gus pauses, looking down. He sees a wild red fox looking back at him. The voices are gone.
Help.
Gus drops to his knees, pleading to the red fox. Stomp, 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 stomp. Holy fuck! Gus raises the rifle towards the tree line as the beast thunders towards him. The Nakani, a 9-foot Bigfoot on rage roids, covered from head to toe in long, bloody gray hair, sharp yellow fangs, glistening red eyes, and horns poking out of his head. He runs up to the edge of the tree line with a gust of wind behind him, having shook every tree in his wake. The gust hits Gus, flicking his hair. Nakani stares at Gus. Gus stares back, his finger on the trigger. A staring contest. Nakani breaks it to look at the fox hanging by Gus's feet. Nakani shares a look with the fox, like they're communicating. Because they are. Thoughts riddle Nakani's face, accompanied by realizations, and a series of emotions, including guilt. He grunts, but it's unlike before. It's almost like a sigh. He takes another glance at Gus. Gus lowers the gun. Nakani backs away. Then he turns, running off into the fog. Gone. Shook, Gus looks down. The fox is also gone. Seconds later, random hikers find Gus sitting on the ground in the trail. He's rescued. Interior Gus's bedroom morning. Crisp morning rays. Gus lies in bed. He awakens, a healing scar beside his right eye. He lies awake in deep silence. Interior Gus's apartment, morning. Gus relaxes in his sofa, chomping through a bowl of cereal with Hot Mess reality TV playing on his TV. Psychiatric discharge papers spill from an envelope in the dresser on the corner. Dimwits in the show make him chuckle, but this moment is brief because his eyes make contact with his walkie-talkie, upright on the coffee table before him. Seconds later, Gus holds the radio to his lips.
Hey, man.
Nothing comes from the other end.
I'm doing better now.
Still nothing. Gus looks over into the corner of the living room. There Nakani stands, hunched over in the apartment with him, staring his way. Gus looks at Nakani. Nakani looks at him. A phone buzzes. The name, Dr. Vasi. It buzzes and buzzes.
Hoorah.
Gus sets the walkie-talkie down and grabs the phone, answering it.
Hi.
Hey, Gus, ready to talk? Gus looks into the corner again. Nakani is gone, vanished. Gus snickers.
Hey, everybody, give a round of applause to the cast of Bearskull. And shout out to writer David Williams, who's on here right now. Everyone wave to David. So there you have it. This is the opening night of HorrOrigins Film Festival. Don't forget, the festival lasts until August 18th, which is this Sunday. For more information, please visit bingewave.com /F/ HorrOrigins. So everyone, give another round of applause to our cast. And we'll see everybody for the rest of the weekend, the rest of the festivities. So thank you guys. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you
Thank
guys
you,
so
David.
much. Thank you.